too cold to do math, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, here we go. We're learning the quadratic formula. So cold. So what is the quadratic formula? A quadratic formula is another way to solve a quadratic equation. Oh my gosh, another method. Why another method? Well, here's the thing. Factoring doesn't work for every single problem for solving. The quadratic formula is one of those ways for solving that works no matter what, 100% of the time. It will get you the answer. So we need to know it for that reason, because there will be problems where you cannot factor it and you have to use the quadratic formula. Now, definitely write this little guy right here, write that down, because that quadratic formula, that's what it is. And there is a little song that goes with that to help remember it, and I'm going to sing it to you. It goes to the tune of Pop Goes the Weasel. So the formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Stuck in your head now, isn't it? Well, remember that a, b, and c, they just come from the standard form of your equation, so you're looking at standard form right here. Okay, so like, yeah, a, b, and c, just pull them out from there and plug them into your formula here. This next slide is just some need-to-know things. Honestly, I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to say pause, read it, write it down, write it, whatever down you want to write down, and yeah. But these are some just helpful things to know. Okay, so the next slide, we'll see a couple of examples real fast, and hopefully it'll all make sense. So we want to solve this, and we're going to use the quadratic formula. I need to start by identifying what is A, B, and C. A here is 1, B is positive 5, and C is negative 6. So now I need to take A, B, and C there, and I need to plug all that into my quadratic formula. Everywhere I see a B, I'm going to put this 5, so I still need the negative sign though. Remember that we've had issues with negative b, like negative b over 2a, stuff like that. You got to make sure that if b is already negative, you're going to have a double negative, so just remember. But I've got, here I don't have that, I just have negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 5 squared minus 4 times a is 1 and c is negative 6. Extend my square root all the way, and all of this is over 2a. Oh, whoops, a is actually 1, so all of this is over 2 times 1. Okay, so now we just need to go in and start cleaning all this stuff up here. Basically, you know, do your multiplying and squaring of things. It's the first step. So I have negative 5 plus or minus 5 squared is 25. 4 times 1 times 6 is 24. And if I notice my signs here, I've got a negative sign here and a negative sign here. Well, those two will make it a positive. So I said 24. It's plus 24. And then on the bottom, 2 times 1 is 2. I can add these together. 25 and 24 make 49. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 2. Now, what is the square root of 49? 7. So over here, we'll say x equals negative 5 plus or minus 7 over 2. And now this would be a good time to split this off into two things. Once in where I do negative 5 plus 7, and once in where I do negative 5 minus 7. And we'll still leave it as a fraction, and then we'll simplify the fraction as the very last thing. So negative 5 plus 7 is 2. And then alternatively, negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Divide those. 2 over 2 is 1, and negative 12 over 2 is negative 6. So then those are my answers. I would just like to point out that this original problem could have been easily factored into x plus 6, x minus 1, and then from that I can easily tell that if x plus 6 is a factor, negative 6 is a solution, and also positive 1 is a solution likewise. Yeah, a whole lot simpler to factor this than it was to use the quadratic formula, but here's the point. Okay, if you can factor it, you should factor it. For now, we're practicing using the formula, though, so we need to be using that. But in the future, if you can factor something, do that. But if it cannot be factored, then you must use the formula. If you want to use the formula anyway, well, you can see right here all the work that you're going to have to do. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just you're going to be doing a lot of work. Now, I think this next one cannot be factored. So, I don't remember, actually, but we're going to do the formula regardless. So here, remember, you always have to make it equal to 0, so I'm going to move this 5 over, which means it's going to go from positive 5 to being a negative 5. I've got 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. A is 2, B is negative 3, and C is negative 5. Alright, well, start doing your quadratic formula. Negative b. B is already negative 3, so yes, I have a double negative. And by the way, if you ever do any of this stuff in the calculator, you really have to put parentheses around negative numbers before you square them. Otherwise, you need to do it by hand so you don't make the mistake. A was 2, and C was negative 5. All over 2 times A, which is 2. Go in, start simplifying everything. X equals, the double negative is a positive 3, plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared is 9. I have a minus sign here and a negative sign here, which means this is going to change to a plus. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. And this is all over 2 times 2, which is 4. This would then simplify to 3 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4. Well, once again, by coincidence here, it looks like the square root of 49 is 7, so I've got x equals 3 plus or minus 7 over 4. So and here's the thing. If the square root comes out to be nice and perfect, you could have factored it. But that doesn't matter here. We're just trying to understand how to use the formula right now. Eventually, we want to be able to tell, well, should I factor or should I use the formula? And that's a question of whether or not the problem can be factored. So here, I'm going to split this off into 2 things. Once in where I add the 7, and once where I subtract the 7. 3 plus 7 is 10. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Notice I still have the denominator down there. Now 10 over 4, that can't divide perfectly, but it can simplify down to 2.5 or 5 over 2, whichever one you want to say, doesn't really matter. And then on the right side here, negative 4 over 4 is just negative 1. So those are my 2 solutions. All right. Once again, go back and pay attention to what the formula is, and just all we're doing is identifying the A, B, and C and plugging them into the formula, and then the rest of that is just simplifying. So make sure you really focus on how to simplify it, because it can get a little bit confusing with how much there is there. And make sure you write your summary, and I'll see you in class.